Welcome to This Explainer. It's honestly a fascinating and, well, kind of a terrifying realization when you start really looking at modern finances. We are right in the middle of this epidemic, where the overwhelming desire to live a luxury lifestyle is actively destroying people's ability to build actual wealth. There's just this brutal contrast today between looking rich and actually being rich. So we're going to strip away the social media filters, look at the cold hard math, and figure out how to avoid going totally broke while chasing a high-end aesthetic. Okay, let's dive into this psychological trap. There's this delusional fake-it-till-you-make-it mindset that captures aspirational spenders just perfectly. I mean, listen to this admission from a young guy who says he's actively spending the salary of his imaginary future rich self right now at today's crazy interest rates. He's topping his card, living deep in the red, and essentially paying off his past broke self every single month, simply because he believes he'll be wealthy one day. It's just a massive, dangerous psychological trap.
And make no mistake, this delusion, it's not an isolated problem. Look at this number, $1.28 trillion. That is the record-breaking amount of credit card debt held by Americans at the end of 2023. Literally a trillion with a T. Roughly 60% of cardholders are carrying a balance month to month, at average interest rates hovering right around 20%. We're looking at a nationwide financial epidemic here, where millions of people are literally mortgaging their actual futures just to fund their current lifestyles.
Section 1. The Illusion of Wealth. Funding the Imaginary Future Self.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer absurdity of the financial decisions people make just so they don't feel broke. We have a culture where people are willingly burning their hard-earned cash to fund an illusion. Take the 18-year-old on an entry-level income financing a $46,000 Jeep. Her monthly payment with a warranty is roughly $1,200. She actually has to drive DoorDash on the side just to keep up with the car note for the car she's driving. Or how about the nurse who went into massive debt buying luxury purses to build an influencer brand that, well, never took off? And worst of all is this dangerous, trendy social media advice that money is energy. The more you spend, the more comes back. Actually, scratch that. Money is not energy. Money is math. When you spend it, it's gone.
Section 2. The Lifestyle Creep Trap. Upgrading your way to zero.
So, what actually happens when people start making a little more money? Do they save it? Usually, no way. They fall straight into lifestyle creep. This is when your income rises, but instead of aggressively increasing your savings or investments, you immediately bump up your spending to match it. You get a raise, so you buy a nicer car, or you move into a luxury building. You trap yourself in this vicious cycle of funding a wealthy aesthetic while building absolutely zero actual financial security. Because here's the truth, just because your monthly payment clears the bank doesn't mean you can actually afford the purchase. And this brilliantly illustrates the exhausting psychological toll of that trap. Take a young professional who moved into a luxury apartment simply because she felt that's what someone with her new salary was supposed to do. Her rent eats up all her cash flow, she can't travel, she can't save, and one unexpected emergency would completely wipe her out. The reality of living on the edge with no safety net is just entirely draining. She can afford the rent on paper, sure, but it is bankrupting her soul.
And when lifestyle creep spirals completely out of control, you get horrifying numbers like this. One 22-year-old managed to accumulate $100,000 of debt before most people even start their careers. But you know what the ultimate irony is? The student loan, the thing society always tells you is the big, scary debt of your 20s, was only about $7,900 of that total. Over $55,000 was for a luxury car, and over $37,000 was purely credit card debt. That is a completely self-built, $100,000 hole driven entirely by lifestyle choices.
Section 3. The brutal debt math. Compounding interest versus your cash flow. If we shift our focus away from that psychological urge to buy luxury, we slam right into the unforgiving mathematical reality of compounding interest. It creates a literal cycle of ruin. It starts with shame. You avoid checking your accounts because of anxiety. We've all been there, right? But while you look away, compounding interest secretly inflates your balance. Pretty soon, your minimum payments grow so massive they eat up all the available cash flow from your paycheck. So what happens next? You have to start putting your basic survival needs, like groceries, onto the credit card, which of course inflates the balance further, raising the minimum payments even further. A luxury purchase today literally suffocates your ability to buy groceries tomorrow.
And sometimes people stack these financial mistakes to bake the least appetizing dish ever created, the debt lasagna. Let's walk through this multi-layered disaster. You have someone who already has $10,000 to $15,000 in credit card debt. That's layer 1. Layer 2. They buy a brand new car and roll the negative equity from their old car into the loan.
meaning they're actually borrowing money to pay for a car they don't even own anymore. And layer 3, the $5,000 down payment for the new car? Oh, they put that on a credit card at a 25% interest rate. It's a loan wrapped in a loan, baked with a third loan right on top.
Inevitably, this math breaks. The car gets repossessed. And there is this terrible, persistent myth out there that a repossession just magically wipes your hands clean. It absolutely does not. The bank takes your car, they sell it at auction for absolute pennies, and you are still on the hook for the difference. For example, one 25-year-old had a cute Honda Accord with a 25% interest rate get repossessed. Now, she has no car, a totally destroyed credit score, and still owes over $7,200 in collections for a vehicle she will literally never drive again.
Section 4. Flashy fails, boring wins. The reality of generating real wealth.
So, if chasing a luxury lifestyle makes you broke, how do you actually build wealth? Let's move to and see how this builds when we look at the business world, because the exact same rules apply. On the left, we have Karan's Premium Cafe. Expensive imported machines, fancy lights, an amazing Instagram aesthetic. But he has to stand there every single day begging new customers to walk in. On the right, we have Mahesh's commercial cleaning business. No Instagram wall, no ribbon-cutting ceremony. It's completely invisible. But Mahesh has 2-year contracts to clean corporate offices every single morning. While Karan is standing around waiting for customers, Mahesh's phone is just quietly getting notifications of recurring payments while he's on holiday.
Real wealth is built in the shadows, far away from flashy aesthetics. Just look at these incredibly unglamorous wealth builders. Vending machines, driven purely by being placed in prime corporate locations. Pest control for restaurants, a service driven by absolute panic and customer urgency. Commercial laundry for hotels. It's not a luxury, it's essential infrastructure, because a hotel literally cannot rent a room without clean sheets. Or software as a service, built once but charging thousands of users a recurring monthly fee.
These boring businesses reveal a secret that applies to both running a company and running your personal finances: the golden rule. The most important metric is not a one-time flashy transaction. The absolute best metric is how many times the profit repeats. Recurring revenue from a boring necessity will always beat a one-time luxury transaction.
Section 5. Protecting your future. Stopping the cycle and securing real wealth.
So how do we take this danger of luxury debt and apply it directly to your life? I want to confront you directly with an incredibly uncomfortable question. If your one source of income, your job, disappeared tomorrow morning, how long could your household survive on the cash you have right now? 3 months? 6 days? Relying on a single salary while spending everything you make on lifestyle aesthetics is a terrifyingly fragile way to live.
So the crucial point is, the reality of that fragility is terrifying. Studies show that roughly 75% of people do not have a proper emergency fund. They are literally one layoff, one medical emergency, or one unexpected car repair away from total financial ruin. And why? Because they prioritize the appearance of wealth, the dinners, the cars, the clothes, over actual tangible financial safety.
Here is the hard, unglamorous solution. Before you buy the trendy clothes, before you upgrade your car, and honestly, before you even start looking at fancy investments, you have to build a boring safety net. Stop buying trends. You need a strict 6-month liquid emergency fund sitting right there in a basic savings account. It needs to cover your rent, your groceries, and your basic bills. Now, this isn't fun, it's definitely not flashy for Instagram, but it is the personal finance equivalent of that commercial cleaning business. It protects you in the background while you sleep.
Which leaves us with one final thought I want you to reconsider before your very next purchase. Ask yourself honestly, with the money leaving your bank account today, are you securing your actual, real-world future? Or are you just funding the temporary aesthetic of an imaginary, wealthy version of yourself? The math never lies, my friends. Choose wisely.